Recently, Fender made quite a bit of a noise in the guitar world because of the whole cease and desist drama surrounding guitar shapes, especially the Stratocaster. And if there's one positive thing that came out of all that, is that more people started paying attention to boutique brands. One of the companies that got one of these letters was LsL Instruments. So today we're checking out two LsL guitars that Guitar Story Boutique kindly loaned me for this video. We've got a Saticoy, which is their take on the S-style guitar, and the T-Bone, which is their version of a vintage-inspired Telly-style guitar. And before we talk in more details about the specs or plug them in, I think it's worth taking a look at the company behind them. LsL was founded in 2008 in California by Lance and Lisa Lerman. What's interesting is that Lance wasn't just someone that suddenly decided to start making guitars. He'd already spent years working with wood, repairing instruments, or even running large woodworking operations in both the United States and China. But throughout all of that, he remained a guitar player. When he returned to California after spending some years abroad, he wanted to have a proper 50s style Telecaster. And the problem was that what he wanted wasn't really easy to buy. So he built one. After months of measuring, experimenting, and obsessing over little details, he finished the guitar and brought it to a trusted guitar player friend for feedback. That friend was basically very surprised that Lance made it himself and asked if he could make another one. And that first guitar eventually became the foundation for what would become LsL Instruments. Today, every guitar is still built in California, with necks shaped by hand, pickups wounded in-house, custom relic work, nitro finishes, and the level of attention to detail that stays in line with what you'd expect from a boutique builder. So let's take a closer look at these two guitars. Let's start with Saticoy. This particular guitar was built in 2010 and actually has its own name, Bella. And that's something LsL does with many of their instruments. Rather than simply assigning a serial number, the guitars get individual names. The Saticoy is very much inspired by a 1950s Stratocaster. The body is made from alder and finished in black nitrocellulose lacquer with a relic treatment that's meant to replicate decades of use. The finish checking, worn edges, aged hardware, and discolored plastics all contribute to that broken-in vintage appearance. The neck is maple with a matching maple fretboard and black dot inlays. The profile feels like a soft V shape. Electronics follow the classic Strat recipe: 3 single coil pickups controlled by a 5-way selector switch, 1 master volume control, and 2 tone controls. Hardware is equally vintage inspired, with traditional synchronized tremolo bridge and aged nickel hardware throughout. Weight-wise, it feels balanced and lively, and unplugged there's plenty of resonance coming through the body and neck. Now let's hear it in action. Now moving on to the T-Bone. The T-Bone arguably is the most important model in the LsL lineup because it traces directly back to the very first guitar that Lance built when starting the company. Like many early Blackguard Telecasters, this guitar uses a pine body rather than ash or alder. The body is finished in classic butterscotch blonde nitrocellulose lacquer, again with extensive relic work. The finish has that worn-in appearance you'd expect from a well-loved working guitar that spent decades on stage. The neck is a maple with a one-piece maple construction and black dot markers. It feels like a C-shape, which seems immediately familiar if you spend time with the vintage-style Telecasters. Electronics are intentionally simple. You've got two traditional Tele-style single-coil pickups controlled by a three-way selector switch, along with a master volume and master tone control. The bridge is a vintage ashtray-style unit with three brass saddles. One thing worth mentioning is that LsL winds their pickups in-house, so these aren't off-the-shelf aftermarket pickups. The company places a lot of emphasis on matching pickup output and voicing to each specific model. The overall result is a guitar that feels very much inspired by an early 50s Blackguard, but built with modern consistency and attention to detail. And now let's hear how it sounds. these guitars feels like an attempt to reinvent the wheel. Instead, they focus on refining something familiar, taking designs that we already know and love and executing them with the consistently high quality and exceptional attention to detail. The thing that stood out to me the most was that these guitars just simply made me want to play them, which at the end of the day is probably what Lance was chasing when he built that first T-style guitar in his garage. A huge thank you to Guitar Story Boutique again for lending me these beautiful guitars for the video. And you guys, let me know in the comments if you prefer the Saticoy or the T-Bone and whether you've ever had the chance to try an LsL guitar yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!